Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. And let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from One-Armed Cook, who says, "Am I the arsehole for telling my brother-in-law to leave after he found out my mum cuts vegetables for me? I, 30 male, was born with a bone missing in my arm. As a result, I only have one digit. If that wasn't enough, it was in a fixed position with my digit up by my shoulder, and the ligament and tendons didn't really develop, so I can't straighten my arm. My parents were great at making sure I would be independent and able to live by myself. Some things I physically can't do, like tie shoelaces. For the most part, I can cut anything by myself, but I struggle with doing fine dices. Every other month or so, my mum will finally cut some veggies for me. Usually onion, celery and carrots, so that I can freeze them. I asked her to do this when I lived on my own for the first time because I was fed up of sending onions flying all over my kitchen if I used a knife or turning it into mush if I used the food processor. When my girlfriend, 28 female, started dating, she told me she couldn't cook but also didn't have an interest in learning to cook. I said this was fine because I like to cook. So when she moved in, I became the de facto cook. She has never expressed a problem with my mum cutting vegetables for me. She actually preferred it, as she said she couldn't cut them finely for me. Her brother, 35 male, is currently staying with us, and has been for the last 4 weeks, since his ex threw him out because of how lazy he is. He doesn't have a job. I don't think he has for the 3 years I've been with my girlfriend, nor is he looking for one. He also doesn't help around the house. We were his last resort because no one else would take him in, not even their parents. My mum came over yesterday with the freezer bags of diced veggies for me. Brother-in-law was annoyed when he saw my mum with the veggies because that morning, girlfriend and I had spoken to him about not being lazy and get a job because he's an adult and needs to stop relying on people like a child. Girlfriend's words, not mine. He was annoyed because he saw me as being a hypocrite because I was getting my mum to cut things for me like a child. After my mum left, he accused her of mollycoddling me and treating me like I'm incompetent. For me, this was a crossed line because this is something I physically can't do, and my mum is just being helpful. I told brother-in-law that I wanted him to leave and that he was no longer welcome in my home. Girlfriend moved in with me to my house. Girlfriend was upset that I asked her brother to leave as I made the decision without her input and left with him. Since brother-in-law and girlfriend left, I have texts of him and their family accusing me of being a mummy's boy, telling me I need to cut the apron strings and cut my own vegetables like an adult. Girlfriend hasn't answered my texts. Am I the arsehole for telling my brother-in-law to leave? Edits. I do use frozen veggies. They're great for a lot of applications, but definitely not for fresh eating. I get some of the harder veggies like butternut squash already cut up and frozen. Though frozen onions, I seem to only be able to get sliced. My local supermarket does have prepared veggies in fruit and veg department, but it honestly doesn't look great. The onion in particular is always slimy looking. I do actually need to get a new veg chopper like the slap chop or the boxed ones that people have suggested. My niece, 3, broke my last one trying to help me cook. My sister offered to replace it, but I told her it was an accident and she didn't need to do that. I've seen links to a couple that look better than the one I had, where I might be able to cut as finely as I want. So I'm going to order one and give it a try. Quite simply, not the arsehole in this situation. Ableist brother-in-law, he absolutely deserved to be kicked out. He's already been kicked out once for being lazy, but also the girlfriend in this, who not only doesn't cook at all, doesn't contribute, doesn't help with the cutting, is backing up her ableist brother in this at the same time. Yeah, she's simply not the one either, OP, but Safarius says, not the arsehole. You should seriously reconsider your future with this woman. Not only is she too lazy to cook, but she wants you to coddle her and her brother, yet allows her family to mock you for your disability. This is disgusting, OP. This is not something an adult, let alone a partner, does. Her family really can't say much about being spoiled when their daughter can't even cook for herself and their son is a freeloading bum who can't look after himself. Info. What chores did she do, if any? Does she work? Did she contribute to the house equally? I'm asking as the comment about her letting you cook for her irks me. Opie says she does work. She got a part-time receptionist job. She does do some chores, but I've got to ask her if she'll do it. If she's washing clothes, she'll only wash hers, never mine. She does contribute towards the bills, but it's not a 50-50 split because of the difference in our incomes. She doesn't pay towards the house or house upkeep. This was on the recommendation of my dad in case we split up, because then she'd be able to go after my house as she pays towards it. Spharius replies saying, and quoting that she does some chores and that she doesn't wash his clothes. And the commenter says, I'm sorry, what? You're talking about a fully grown woman, not a teenager. Dude, run. Your dad saw this woman for what she was ages ago. Fuzzy Biscotti says, not the arsehole. But why did you let brother-in-law move in if you knew he was thrown out because he's lazy? Brother-in-law's jobless for years, doesn't actively look for one, doesn't help around the house, didn't those things sound your alarms? Opie says she fed me a lot of false promises, that he was going to try and he would help around the house. That'd only be for a couple of nights. That family should help family. I stupidly relented, thinking that maybe he's changed. Fiery Termis says, not the arsehole, but I find it a big red flag that your girlfriend doesn't know how to cook and doesn't want to learn either. The least she could do is chop veggies for you, so that way your mum doesn't need to take the time to do it and then drive them over to you. However, your mum sounds awesome for helping you like that. Opie says, see, this didn't bother me at the time. I like to cook, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't get a bit grating at times doing all the cooking. My sister tells people that she doesn't cook or want to learn to cook, but she can and does cook. So at first I thought she meant it like my sister did. She tells people this so that she won't be asked to cook for our family Christmas meal. But she does still host Christmas when it's her turn, but she takes us out or we order takeaway. Another commenter says, girlfriend and her lazy freeloading brother need to stay gone. Good riddance, don't let them back in, either of them, for any reason. These are not your people. Not the arsehole unless you let these freeloaders back in your home. Left French says, she's lazy too. He does all the cooking and she can't even dice vegetables for him. And now she's letting other people disrespect him for not dicing vegetables, even though she, a presumably able-bodied person with all her fingers, can't do it either. It's bewildering. How can someone have so little shame? Let's Get This Party On says, yeah, that's the bit that got me. She doesn't want to cook? Fine. Then she can prep, shop or clean. I wonder what she does. Ahmed says, nothing. Same as her mooch brother it seems. Background says, not the arsehole. It shouldn't take a rocket scientist to understand why you physically can't cut veggies yourself. He's the arsehole, but your girlfriend defending him isn't much better, unfortunately. Guilt Edge says it's some real ableist bullshit. Another commenter says, not the arsehole. Do they tell blind people to stop with that silly braille and read like an adult? Helpful Hour says they probably do. Then they ask said blind people for some money. So then OP comes in with her update and says, so girlfriend, well, ex-girlfriend came around this afternoon to collect her belongings. It was very anticlimactic, but I'm not upset that she's gone, because she's shown me her true colors. Though she'd blame me for it all, and not apologize for her and her brother's actions. She'd written on a post on Facebook on Saturday night, basically bad-mouthing me, calling me all sorts of names and said that I was a mummy's boy and refused to cut the apron strings. I didn't see it. I didn't have Facebook, but my sister, 28 female, did, and she screenshotted it and sent it to me. The comment section was a dumpster fire because her friends were saying things like, of course he needs help, he has one arm, and telling her that she should be helping me. She has since deleted the post. After my sister saw the post, she called our uncle to let him know what had happened and suggested that he came around and changed my locks for me because she doesn't trust his ex-girlfriend and wanted to make sure I was safe. As ex-girlfriend left, my uncle arrived to change the locks, which angered her. She got upset and asked if we didn't trust her. I hesitated and my uncle smirked and said no. After ex-girlfriend left, my uncle teased me about taking it so long to realize she wasn't a nice person. None of them liked her but didn't say anything because they could see I was happy. Apparently she and my sister loathed each other as my sister was angry about the way she was treating me. I was just too enamored to see it. My sister has also sent me the number of one of her friends, Jane, 29 female, and told me that Jane is waiting for me to text her for a date when I'm ready, and that this is the last time she's giving me the number of a friend. I've known Jane for years through my sister. She's lovely and I do like her. We get on incredibly well, but Jane was in a long-term relationship before I got with my ex. Jane works as a chef in a local hotel and has previously offered to help me with chopping because she's a good egg. So there's that. So OP managed to get rid of 2 freeloaders at once. Fair play to OP. And potentially another date set up, although, people were saying take it slow, etc, etc. This potential date is a chef and someone that already wants to help him with chopping the veggies. Bonus already. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And let's move on to another story. And our next story is from Weird Trash Surprise. And I'm coming back in after I've read this story. Huge, gross, trigger warning. You'll probably get it from the title. But if you're eating or anything like that, you probably won't want to listen. If you don't like gross stories in general, you won't want to listen. Please listen to me. It's absolutely grim. Timestamps are down in the description and along the timeline below. Please use them if you think this story won't be for you. Thank you. It's titled, My 22 male, girlfriend 20 female has been hoarding my used condoms. Yep, you heard that right. I've been dating a girl, we'll call her Vivian, for about 1.5 years now. We go to college together and live separately. We have by all accounts a great relationship, and I'm 100% planning on staying with her after graduation. We don't want kids anytime soon. Any talk of kids has been us playing around. I think that's all the necessary background information. We don't want an unplanned pregnancy, so we use dual protection, birth control and condoms. And after I finish, I always tie the condom up and throw them in the trash. This week, while Vivian was at practice for her sport, I was looking for some cleaning stuff in her bathroom. In the back corner of her sink, there was a bunch of stuff stacked on top of some rags. And the rags were covering a Tupperware container. And the container was filled with used condoms, seemingly still tied up. I definitely didn't want to open it, and to be honest, didn't really like looking at it either. So I put everything back, went on with my day, and didn't say a single word about it to her. The cleaning stuff I needed ended up being somewhere else, so I don't think me using it raised any alarms. I really don't know what to do right now. We're honest about everything, almost to a fault, so I feel terrible not bringing this up to her. I really don't like the idea of asking a friend for advice because my crew isn't the most sensitive bunch. The first thing that popped into my head that she was trying to artificially inseminate herself, but that doesn't make sense because I see her take birth control every day. Her roommate is basically never there, so I don't really imagine her being the culprit. This just feels so weird to me, and I don't want to mess anything up. What should I do? Now, whatever this is bloody wrong, and it's not normal or healthy behavior. And it doesn't matter the reason she's keeping it. Potential insemination, some kind of weird ritual, or a compulsion. Secretly hoarding used condoms in Tupperware is just not normal. And the fact that she's gone to such lengths to hide it, storing them in a Tupperware container, hiding it with rags under the sink, just shows that she knows it's wrong. And there's only one thing you can actually do in this situation and ask her what the fuck. There's no way I'd be able to move on and not question that at all and find out what the hell is going on, because that's just like, yeah, that's just fucked up. A commenter says to OP, this is a question that needs to be asked. It wasn't too long ago that Reddit had someone stop in to ask about a strange trove he found that was basically him in a box. Condom wrappers, ticket stubs, letters, trash, lots of strange and creepy things that normally gets tossed. Turns out the girl was just hoarding mementos. Don't know where it went after they had a talk. But it's a talk you need to have. Maybe she's saving those so she can keep count. Maybe she has a strange fetish. Maybe she saves one used condom from each boyfriend. Oh, maybe anything. Which is why you need to clear the air and let her know how you're feeling about this. OP says, if it's one from each past boyfriend, then that raises a whole new set of questions. But I'd be pretty shocked if that were the case. Zenu Save says, does she still live with her parents or a super judgmental roommate? She may not want them to be spotted in the trash or risk clogging the toilet, so she holds on to them until trash day and disposes all of them right before they're picked up. Commenter says, throw them out without her knowledge. See if she asks you what happened to her sperm collection. She will know you know. Are you sure they're all yours? Opie says, I'm not sure. Probably could find out how old they are if I look closer, but... oh, no. But I'll talk to her before it gets to that point. I would certainly be surprised if they weren't. Goats and Coffee says, and quotes, "We're honest about everything almost to a fault," and then says, "Okay, sure. Except she's been hiding your used condoms in a Tupperware container in her bathroom. That is not normal behavior. I'd talk to her about it." And the final comment just said, "Trophies." Opie edits and says, "Seems pretty clear that I should talk to her. I try and bring it up after class." So, OP comes in with their update. Brace yourselves. Well, I feel a lot better. Definitely wasn't as big as a deal as I thought it would be. I went to Vivian's place after class and we watched some Game of Thrones and I told her I had something serious to ask her. She looked scared, like she thought I was going to ask to take a break, which made me feel bad, but it made my actual question easier to ask. I cut straight to the chase and asked, "Why is there a Tupperware container filled with used condoms in your bathroom?" She took a few seconds to process and then kinda laughed and said, "I promise it's nothing bad, but it might be better if you don't know for another month or so." Which made me feel way better, but I told her that I needed to at least have a vague idea of their purpose. It actually is pretty funny. I bet it's not. I bet it's not gonna be. So Vivian is on a sports team that is kinda rowdy. And the team has a fierce rivalry with another team at a college in the same town. The other team stole something from them recently, so Vivian's team has been thinking of a way to get them back. The girls settled on the idea to hoard condoms and dump them on or in something that belongs to another team. They aren't sure whether it's easier to do their house, their car, their backpacks, or something else like coat pockets. So all the girls have been hoarding for like 3 weeks now, and they plan on striking soon. She didn't want to tell me because she didn't want me to be an accomplice. I love a good prank war though, so I approve. I'm slightly worried that my DNA is going to be mysteriously found at a crime scene this summer, but I honestly can't imagine things going that far. The lesson learned is, always ask your partner before jumping to conclusions. Although me posting this on Reddit might save my ass if I do get framed for rape, so I didn't feel too bad about my decision. Also to the person who posted that she's keeping them because she has a fetish for swallowing swallowing huge loads at a time, God bless you. Oh lord. Not only is it just bloody absolutely grim, it sounds hugely illegal at the same time. This isn't a prank, it's biological warfare, and like I said, potentially a serious crime. And OP's attitude towards it afterwards, like, oh, it's not such a big thing, I love a good prank war attitude about what is literally a biohazard attack. He went from like rightfully concerned about what's been going on to then making jokes about it, while his girlfriend is literally collecting his DNA to assault people with. The top comments on this one said, "I don't know, man. Couldn't that be deemed as a biohazard? I think I'll tell your girlfriend it might not be the best idea and to come up with some other prank." Just the way he says, yeah, this sounds borderline if not straight out illegal. Commenter replied to that says, "It most definitely fucking is illegal. OP, tell your girlfriend to rethink. An unused condom? No problem. But used? The cops will be charging the whole team with something involving the risks associated with potentially throwing an AIDS-covered condom in someone's face. Not saying you have AIDS, just that condoms are used for more than stopping babies." Another one says, "Just put hand cream in unused condoms for the prank. The effect will be the same. Source, I put hand cream into a condom and slipped it over my boss's shifter in his truck. He's still looking for whodunit after 30 years. P.S. He was a great boss and I set up one of his close friends. Just a joke." And OP edits saying, "I'll bring up the fake idea with her later. I'm really not worried about the other girls going to the cops. There is something of an honor code within the sport." And totally random question after this. Obviously, you probably know I'm a Brit, but I hear about like the sports teams in the US. It may happen here for all I know, but I've seen it in like American type movies where sports teams prank each other. Does that actually happen? Like where they steal like a special mascot thing or something like that? I can't remember what movie I've seen that in, but they just sneak across town in the middle of the night to steal, I don't know, their mascot item or something. Is that a thing? But what do you guys make of this situation? Good on OP in this one. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. And don't forget, at the very end of the video, there'll be a couple of playlists there that you can click on. It will automatically scroll through those videos for you, so you can just sit, chillax, do whatever you're up to, and just listen in. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, and much love.